Yeah, waking up to College Football Nation, waking up with my College Football Nation at the voice of college football. What could be better? It's a Monday. We'll talk a little bit about Mondays in just a minute. And before we get revved up, I just want to make sure, since my audio technician is out today, picked a fine time to take a day off, but my audio technician is out today, so we want to make sure that our audio is working correctly because we've got our wireless mic hooked up today. We ran tests. Audio levels looked good, but we want to make sure with the chat. Does it sound good, clear, right volumes, all of that? Give me a thumbs up in the chat, please, or otherwise we'll scrap it for the day and figure out the kinks later. But it appeared through the test that everything was fine and the audio sounds good. D-Rock Irish, thank you so much for being here. And we've got Ferris, we've got Drufus here as well. Troy's in the chat. Another edition of Wake Up College Football, a second week. We made it through 1 week. We're starting week 2. Great to have everyone here at the Voice of College Football and a different angle from the kitchen because, guess what? We will cook today. We will cook today because we've got the wireless mic set up. I don't think you wanted to be looking at my backside. I'll say it kindly, my backside while I was cooking from our other angle. So we switch it up here. We got the wireless mic. We're all set to go. It's a Monday. And I think today more than ever in America and probably throughout the world, different work schedules than the traditional, it's 1955 in the United States and most people are working Monday through Friday business hours. I think a lot of things have changed that. Obviously, we've got a much more complicated society and a much more complicated and involved work industry across the board. So many different work environments and industries that pop up constantly that require 24/7 attention. And this hit me a long time ago because of technology, reading something that basically there was this large percentage, and I don't remember the exact percentage of jobs that college students will be actively involved in after college, whether that's directly after college or 10 years later, like some massive percentage of the number of jobs in the work field since the internet, especially. That was pretty much the catapult or the impetus for this. Most of those jobs, whatever the percentage is, it's this huge number, 40%, 60% of the jobs that these people will have, they did not exist like 5 years earlier. So then many of them obviously work at different times. So Monday mornings to me have never been like anything specific because of the jobs that I've had. Working in television, I did have a Monday through Friday. Actually, I had the most normal working hours right out of the gate. Right after I graduated from college, I got a job in TV. Took me about 8 or 9 months, worked the grocery store that I had been for 6 years, all the way through high school. And before that, well, high school, college, yes, college, high school, college. That's the way it works, right? High school, then college. And yeah, I had pretty much 8 to 6, 9 to 6, 6:30, whenever we would record the news. Sometimes we would go live, but a 6 o'clock newscast for the 3 years that I worked at WNCO coming out of college. That was, and I worked Monday through Friday. We only did news Monday through Friday. And I would work some on the weekends doing play-by-play, Friday nights, Saturdays, but that wasn't every weekend. And so that was the most normal working hours I've ever had. And if I would have known that at the time, if I would have known that in college, and I could have had the 55-year-old Mark speaking to the 20-year-old Mark, maybe I'd go into something different. Because I didn't mind it necessarily at times, and most of the time I didn't because I was completely used to it. But so Monday mornings have never been after the age of 25 meant little to me. I remember when I left that first job, or more precisely, before I left my first broadcasting job, I was at the ripe old age of 26, just turned 26. So I'm 25 looking for a job, and it was just the endless grind of sending out resume tapes. And back then, no internet, really. There was the internet, but it was dial up, but nobody used the internet for anything purposeful. And just thinking, man, I'm already 25 years old, and I'm stuck in this job, and it's taking me forever to get the next job. Okay, the perspective was, and it did take me a while to get a job, but still the industry was tough to move up in, but 25 years old, come on. But that was it after that, because then the next job I got, I worked weekends for about 6 months. Then I was promoted to sports director, and I had a Monday through Friday, which was good, but it was more like, well, depending on the events out there, I was going to say college football, not college football, sports to cover. But usually 2, 3 in the afternoon to 11:30, midnight after the last news. And then on into ESPN, and forget it. And then I had a Walmart management job in between television jobs, and forget that in terms of hours. That was crazy. That was not fun. Has anyone worked at Walmart? Any Walmart workers, and then more specifically, any Walmart managers? Oh, I could tell stories about Walmart management. Not all bad, but yeah. All right, let's talk some football. You don't want to hear about the trials and travails, but I was just thinking as I was setting up here, and it's an elaborate setup. Believe me, it takes hours to get us set up. And I actually jumped out of bed, no issue, no sleeping, no nothing, just bam, right out of bed, right with the alarm. I probably got a good, I don't know when I went to sleep, 2, something in that range. I gave myself 2 more minutes on the alarm clock today. We went to 7:05, but I was out of bed and ready to roll. All right, we will bypass that. But I was just right before we came on, I thought, this is Monday morning, and this means something to a lot of people. This is our second week. It's Monday morning, and this means a lot to a lot of people who have worked a Monday through Friday or early morning shift. This is something to all of you. You guys can relate to, it's a drag, it's Monday morning. I was out with friends yesterday having dinner at a friend's house, and they both mentioned, man, the weekend went fast. And here we are. It's Monday morning. The weekend went fast. Where does it go? And boom, they're back into the grind of Monday through Friday. And I thought, yeah, that's right. Like Monday morning never meant anything to me. But yeah, my first job meant something to me. Monday morning for 3 years until I was 25, 26. And then after that, although, yes, the next job was Monday through Friday, but it was till midnight. But pretty much 19 years at my next job, and then the Walmart gig. So for like 21 years, yeah, Monday mornings meant nothing. Actually, they were a good thing for 5, 6 years, because that meant I'm off today. So good morning, Keith, Jackson, and others. Mike's here. Morning. Drufus, good to see you. For Drufus, it's 5:45 a.m. every morning. So I'm hoping you get days off. I know that there are people out there, and my heart goes out to you. I know that there are people out there that work every day. Sometimes I'll hear about people that work 2 and 3 jobs, and they work every day. Now, I have worked every day for about 3.5 years. So I kind of get it. But I'm still not going to put myself in your place because I work for myself. But I do work every day and haven't taken a day off in about 3.5 years. So I feel you, but I haven't done it for 30 years, like a lot of people have. And so, Drufus, I hope you get your rest. I hope you get some time away, because I don't like to hear every morning at 5:45. Hall of Fame college football with Jason and the coach. Wow, that's impressive. Good morning to you as well. We know you've stopped by at some point. Our buddy Joey Foster, the West Virginia channel, great things happening there. So please, it's a live show almost every night on the West Virginia channel. Almost every night, including on Mondays. Jackson, thanks for being here again. Brian, I have yet to see you in the chat, but Brian says, "Go Ducks." Ducks, welcome to the Big Ten. And you know what? I'll give it the big wind-up for Brian. Welcome to the voice of college football. I know who you root for. We can see that. Would love to know how long you've been watching the voice of college football. And so good to see everyone out there. I guess we will cut right to the headlines. Let's get it. And then we'll cook. Here we go with the morning headlines. And if you're joining us for a first time here on Wake Up College Football, then you will know or need to know that we go through the morning headlines. So this is kind of the updated version of the old school. Grab the morning paper, grab the coffee, the juice, the toast, whatever you do, grab the morning paper and scan the headlines and give it a look. And so with us, that of course starts online, and we've been going to ESPN. However, it's your show. Therefore, we want to know if there are any sites out there that we should be looking at for, you may have gotten 2 or 3 newspapers to compare, or maybe got a newspaper for a few months, didn't like it, went to another newspaper. We talked about USA Today last week. That was just the eye-opener with the color and the graphics and the charts and the stats for the sports fan. All over the place. The expanded box scores, just the best. So we do ESPN here, but we will expand. Just no local papers, quote unquote, papers, national stuff. And let's get to it. The transfer portal, of course, was up and running over the weekend. So when we go live at 3 p.m. Eastern time today, we're going to have more news and updates than usual. So we are live every weekday at 3 p.m. Eastern time through the end of the transfer portal on April 30th with updates. And the update today is going to be mammoth because I gave it a glance last night, and a lot of portal news. And I believe we're going to see some of that here in just a second with the morning headlines. So first up, so we talked about this guy last week. One of the best place kickers in college football. And we know Bama's history, despite all the success, the most successful program in college football has had issues aside from the most recent kicker. Aside from him, Will Reichard, who scored more points than anyone in history. Bama has had its issues kicking the ball through the uprights, but they've got a good one here. Lou Groza Award winner Graham Nicholson from Miami of Ohio. And we pegged this last week when we said not necessarily that he was going to Bama, but you're at a group of 5, you're in the MAC, you hit 27 to 28 field goals. It's one of the more under-evaluated positions coming out of, no, correct that. It is the, along with punter, most or least evaluated position in high school football. Even with all the scouting and all the money given to recruiting, it's still the least evaluated position. And so the group of 5 kickers, I think this is going to change and probably already has changed. I haven't done a study on this. We should look at accuracy of group of 5 kickers versus power 5 kickers. And I'm going to break myself of saying power 5. It's power 4. So the power 4 kickers versus group of 5 kickers. I wonder if there's a substantial difference in accuracy. That would be interesting to see. But now with the transfer portal, you would think tons of group of 5 kickers would elevate to a top program like Alabama. Michigan, of course, with, can't think of his first name, Michael Turner, who took over for Jake Moody. Well, he came from Louisville, but still, he went up the ladder. As we mentioned, Crimson Tide looking to replace Will Reichard. I'm surprised that they're not informing us here that Will Reichard scored more points than anyone in the history of college football. As mentioned, Nicholson 27 to 28 last year, which was good for 3rd best field goal percentage among all kickers who had more than 1 attempt. I don't think you really need to tell us that. 27 of 28, we know. Was there a guy out there that hit them all? Evidently, or somebody kicked more field goals. 10 of 11 from 40 plus. Made 1 from 52. Also had 73 kickoffs last season, 52 of which resulted in a touchback. We're always talking on here about the limited impact, the lessened impact of special teams. And there you see it right there. New Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer has been active in the portal with 10 total transfers arriving in the offseason. The group is headlined by former Texas A&M defensive lineman L.T. Overton, Keon Sabb, Michigan safety, and 4 former Washington players. Of course, him coming from Washington, he brought Parker Brailsworth, one of the top offensive linemen in college football, quarterback Austin Mack, who will be competing for the job in 2025, and receiver Jeremy Bernard and tight end Josh Cuevas. So there you go. Bama's got themselves a kicker. Next up, Colorado. This is a rarity. Colorado jumping in the portal. Kidding. So we've got, again, from ESPN, former Pitt defensive end, Deion Hayes, announced Sunday that he's transferring to Colorado. And we're going to cover all this and much, 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 much more on our transfer portal update today through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Hayes led Pitt in tackles for loss last season with 10.5. They need some defense in Colorado. They got some here. Deion Hayes, 45 tackles, 4 sacks, 6 quarterback hurries, 6'2", 265, senior. So he's a grad transfer, possibly, or going into a senior season. Correct. That's probably incorrect. Senior season this year. Played 4 seasons at Pitt. So in terms of the transfer portal with this one, hey, he played 4 years at Pitt. I have no issue with this. The biggest issue I'm having with the transfer portal right now, the biggest issue I'm having is guys that are leaving after the season, transferring, and being nothing but a financial drain and a resources drain on a university and football program, tying up the coaching staff's time, visiting, having to be wooed and pursued, and all the time that goes into that, going through all the administrative paperwork, taking up those people's time with the transfer, all the paperwork I can only imagine, the transfer, and then the scholarship, getting enrolled in school, all of that takes people's time up. And then on top of that, wearing the gear, sure, they get just outfitted with all sorts of gear at their new school. And then they also, of course, can go to the, I believe, during the off season, they're working out. They still have winter workouts going into spring practice. So eating the program's food, the university's food, wearing their gear, working out in their facilities, and then they transfer again. And they added nothing. And for you faithful ones, you've heard me rant about this probably 5 times in the last week, and I apologize. But I did learn one thing at ESPN, and that's not everyone's watching at the same time, and people check in for 5 minutes and 10 minutes. And that's why I don't know what the examples would be today, but near the end of my tenure there, it was LeBron, and who knows, at different times it was Tom Brady, at different times it was Tim Tebow. You get them shoved down your throats all day, or whatever the big story is. It's all day, relentlessly. So I've learned to mention some things because I think we've had some good ideas here at the Voice of College Football and some analysis that hasn't been out there with certain topics. And I didn't do a good job of, I just thought, okay, I said this once, everybody heard it. No, that's not the case. So again, the transfer portal, that's what's driving me crazy right now, is guys double transferring again during the offseason, did not contribute anything to their current school. The Buffs were number 63 in sacks last season, number 27. Oh, they had 27 sacks, number 63 in the nation, and 78th in defensive pressures with 139. And I got to think, with all the passing teams that they faced, that they actually faced more dropbacks than most teams. The staff has worked this offseason to add more help up front on the defensive side with Hayes, reuniting him with former Pitt teammate Samuel Okunlola, who was also transferring into Colorado. Well, obviously he is. It just said that they've added him. I don't know why they would repeat that. That's poor writing. In addition to those two, Colorado is former Alabama lineman Anquan Barnes. Let me try that again. It must be Anquan Barnes. Former LSU lineman Quincy Wiggins. Not familiar with him. Arizona State's BJ Green. Arkansas lineman Torian Carter. Kentucky edge Keaton Wade. New Mexico State edge Kyle Webb Walker. And Houston lineman Chidozie Nwankwo entering the program. Ohio defensive lineman Rayon Bruel also said on Sunday that he's transferring to Colorado. It has not been just defensive transfers, however, as Colorado also got a commitment from former Texas offensive lineman Peyton Kirkland Sunday. Kirkland, 3-star in 2023, transferring in as a freshman with 4 years of eligibility remaining. What are the odds that he's going to play for 4 years at Colorado? 5%. The Buffs have brought in transfers in droves during Coach Deion Sanders' tenure at Colorado, 4-8 last year. Anyone have anything to say about that? What I was going to call a mess, but it's not a mess. It's pretty typical to college football these days. Check out the post on our Texas channel from Sunny Burma. We will need to drop that in the chat, but it's easy to find, folks. Go to the Texas channel. So basically, you can find any Voice of College Football channel by simply going into the YouTube search bar, Voice of college football, tack on your team. It should jump out there. Or the typical URL, HTTPS, et cetera, you know the drill. And then you go youtube.com/@ whatever it is, Texas VOCFB. Probably nobody got that. It's a little much. Thank you, D-Rock Irish. Great point, Mark. The abuse of the transfer portal is ridiculous. Again, I posted a video about this last week. I pretty much vented in an organized way my issues and stating first and foremost, I am a full believer. I am a patriot and capitalist. I'm a full believer of freedom of choice, freedom of opportunity, freedom of decision, choice, movement, all those things. But there should be responsibility. You have to have some regulation around that. We need to protect the schools, the personnel, the football coaches. They've got to run a football program and have an idea of how many players they're going to have. So check out Sonny's video on the Texas channel. AJ's here, and Keith had mentioned in the chat, Keith Ricard, that he went to the Michigan spring game. And we had a great conversation after the game. Check it out on the Michigan channel, Michigan Post with TJ Konerski, and of course, John D'Adamo. That was after the Michigan spring game. Great coverage of Michigan football. And how much better Michigan looks and how much better Michigan fans feel about their team today than they did before Saturday. Is that justified? They were playing against themselves. I thought that I have no different thoughts about Michigan football today than I did before, although I thought that Alex Orji, after his initial couple passes, his first two throws were awful. He threw one in the ground, trying to get it to the fullback out of the backfield, just on a ball in the flat. And then he had a receiver breaking free to the outside that ran a great route and was open by a country mile in college football. And he threw it way behind him. Then after that, he settled in, and I thought he threw the ball pretty well. Drufus says Michigan's got a lefty field goal kicker, and we always appreciate LFG. If you notice this, LFG, very active in the chat, but he always starts out with this one. Like number... Maybe we'll make that a thing, thanks to LFG, and he's been doing it forever. This didn't start last week. He's been doing this for a long time. Long time he's been doing this, because I think it's just a gentle reminder to everyone, hey, I'm like number 13. I'm like number 4. I'm like number 37. It's every time with LFG. LFG, we appreciate it, because what you're doing is you are helping the algorithm. Who knows how many people LFG is influenced to hit the like button. So please do that right now. Yeah, what's good for breakfast? We'll get to it here in just a second. LFG always has some good notes for us here. 2024 Big 12 college football squads decimated by past or projected portal losses. Kansas, Kansas State, TCU, Iowa State, Houston, Arizona, and Arizona State. It is on my to-do list that here today I'll be looking at all the spring games coming up Saturday, making those contacts. We'll be making those contacts to see who's coming up this Saturday, and we'll be bringing in our media contributors to spotlight and preview all of those spring games. I know Oregon is this Saturday, Nebraska is this Saturday, and others. and it will be the NFL draft. So we'll have a nice, we'll have a good night on Saturday night at the Voice of College Football with the NFL draft and with spring games. Jackson's a member. He has been for 8 months, and actually Jackson's been kind of a charter member because he's here all the time working for us, promoting, doing a great job. It's the Jacksonian right here on YouTube, 124 days until week 0. 129 until that next Thursday, until the start of week 1 of the 2024 college football season. I don't know what our Wake Up College Football is going to look like that weekend, because some of you know that we do a 24-hour marathon leading into the season that Thursday of week 1. So who knows what we're going to look like going into week 1 there with the Wake Up College Football show and the 24-hour marathon. It's all going to just get slammed together. Jackson's making it easy for everyone. Again, between TJ, John, and what I had to add, great Michigan post game on Saturday. Check it out right there. More coming in from LFG. You guys are going to be better than the headlines right here I just take from you guys. Arizona State simultaneously lost 2 of their top players. Yes, Jaden Rashada and the wide receiver Badger late Thursday night. Badger, I know that I'm not going to go through all the schools I've seen him linked to. 2024 Arizona State should finish last in the Big 12 with as few as 3 to 4 wins. Worst case. Yeah, I've not dug into Arizona State. Of course, we'll have Phil Steele on after he gets done with his publication, and then that's my exhaustive source to dive into Arizona State. It wasn't pretty for them most of last season, of course, with 3 wins, but they were a much better football team and more competitive later in the season. Arizona State posted one of the few shutouts in college football, not their defense, their offense, last season against Fresno State, which is difficult to do, to get shut out in major college football. Can we remember any shutouts last year? How many shutouts were there? But Arizona State had one of them against Fresno State, 29-0. So that's a Power 5 getting shut out, not just losing, getting shut out by a Fresno State team that was not one of their better teams. Shop Amazon using the link. And talking to my friends last night, hanging out, having dinner. My buddy's wife, she had to do some shopping. Guess what she did? She was on the Amazon link, telling me proudly, I use that Amazon link. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. If everyone did that, that would be a game changer. If everyone did that. And I know some of you are saying under your breath, I don't shop on Amazon. And if you don't need to start because of me. Please don't. Just do whatever you do. But if you shop on Amazon, the link's in the description section of every video on every channel. So please check it out. Please grab it. It is the same shopping experience. Doesn't cost you a penny and builds us here at the Voice of College Football. Thank you for that. Jackson, the Amazon link, everyone. All right. Next up, so this, at this point, is old news. And again, we talked about this in regards to, we've got you all lined up on this one. So you can go to the Texas channel. You've got Matthew Miller's post-game show. We are all over this now that I think about it. You've got Matthew Miller's post-game show. You've got Sonny Verma's take on the Texas spring game, Arch Manning in particular. Then you've got the Texas Live show coming up tonight at 7 Eastern. So that's going to be right here. And yes, I would show you highlights, but they probably are going to zing me for that. Excuse me. So tonight at 7 Eastern. It's going to be right here on the main channel, but we're moving everything Texas over to the Texas channel. So please check it out. basically, Arch Manning lit it up. I've not seen any highlights. I should do my due diligence and check it out. I understand the 75-yard touchdown play right out of the gate was impressive, and he was just flat out impressive. As you see there, 10 for 10 out of the gate, 11 for 13 overall, and one of the throws was dropped or off the hands of Isaiah Bond, the Alabama transfer. At least 4 of those incompletions. Oh, finished 19 of 26. What's 11 of 13? First half, 11 of 13, 19 of 26. His pocket presence confidence was an important showing considering Quinn Ewers missed 5 games in the past 2 years. Backup Malik Murphy, he went to Duke. I'm really interested to see Malik Murphy at Duke. He is a physical specimen, but back to Texas, they returned just 16% of their receiving production from last season. However, they are stocking positions and a wide receiver in particular, much like Ohio State, where, yeah, they're losing guys. They brought in Isaiah Bond from Alabama for one thing. And then in addition to that, Ryan Wingo showed us something as well. So that's Arch Manning, and I'm sure that's going to cause some level of controversy or at least discussion on the Texas message boards about Arch Manning needs to play, and also if Quinn Ewers falters at all. I'm not talking about losing a game. I'm talking about a throw hits the ground. Sonny says Arch Manning's best throw of the day was dropped by Bond. Do we have more news and notes coming in? Courtesy LFG. Shockingly, Arizona college football scared up some NIL money and so far has kept their star linebacker Manu and great 8 cornerback Davis from the SEC, Goober Vultures, and yes, thank you for that, LFG. All right, on to our next I really don't know that we've got like serious headlines. More about the Michigan spring game. We've heard enough of that. 2.5 hour post game. Check it out. Lincoln Riley. Can we really draw anything from this? We already knew Miller Moss was the guy at USC, that he would have to just completely trip over himself to not win the USC job, which is a big credit to him because coming down the stretch of last season, Caleb Williams moving on to the NFL and the transfer portal being what it was with all the plethora of big-time starting quarterbacks, not all elite, but when you think about KJ Jefferson, Will Rogers, Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward, Will Howard, and I could keep going with top 25 type quarterbacks. I really thought USC was going to do something, and it was reported for about 24 hours there that Will Howard was headed to USC. All right, there's spring game, and we've got our USC show tonight. So a lot of these headlines are falling right into our program schedule. Got our USC show coming up tonight, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. After a spring game that featured 4 interceptions by USC's 3 quarterbacks, head coach Lincoln Riley said Saturday, longtime backup Miller Moss is the front runner in the competition. Okay. Quote, he's certainly ahead right now. There's no question about that. We're in a position right now where we don't have to name a starter. But if we did, it's Miller Moss. So he's going to have to fall on his face in August to lose the job. Been at USC since 2021. So think about that, 21, 22, 23, 24. In today's college football world, 4th year at the same program, waiting patiently, working, had the enormous Holiday Bowl against Louisville last year with 6 touchdown passes. Saturday was Moss's first on-field performance since his record-breaking 6-touchdown game against Louisville. Moss's showcase in that game was good enough that Riley and USC's staff felt compelled to acquire only a younger quarterback from UNLV through the portal. And it's going to be a very different looking USC passing attack and quarterback play. We're talking about just practically polar opposites of quarterback play when we talk about Caleb Williams, who is going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft on Thursday night. Well, we're talking about extending plays. We're talking about a physical specimen. The skill set's ridiculous. The arm angles, all of that. A guy that's going to wait and play that game of cat and mouse with the pass rush and run around and circle around and extend plays that sometimes got him into trouble, but most of the time worked out by him either taking off, always looking to throw, but taking off when it was obvious and being a guy that you really didn't want to deal with if you were an undersized corner or safety downfield. So a physical guy, great speed, but just great, just elusiveness and the frame and the strength to make it difficult for him to be brought down. And he would just extend plays. That just has to, I'm sure the offensive lineman loved it from the standpoint of, hey, he can make a play. We want to win the game. But in regards to trying to play my position, play my role, not knowing where this guy's going to be, am I going to have to hold somebody 5 seconds from now because he's still extending a play and he's coming back around and I've got to, more chaotic improvisation out of Caleb Williams. Miller Moss, it's going to be boom, read, ball out of his hand. It's either going to be predetermined. Okay, this is our bubble screen right now. Okay, the next one, I got to read 1, 2, 3, boom, and he's going to get the ball out of his hands. His offensive linemen, I'm sure, are going to appreciate that everything's going to be on schedule, on time with Miller Moss. That's at least what he's shown. He knows, his game is not to extend the play and run around. And so USC also with a pretty capable backup in Jaden Maeva from UNLV after a 3,000-yard freshman season, improving rapidly, according to Riley, but needs more time to settle into the offense and the team. It's a climb for him right now. He's a hard worker. He's talented. Gets better every day. Just see the wires connecting a little bit more. Okay. Somebody let me know. Somebody in the chat, let me know. Somebody here at the Voice of College Football, if you're watching 6 hours from now, let me know the next time a coach says, this guy doesn't really get it. He's not improving. He had a bad spring. He just isn't coming along. He's not working hard enough. I guess the only example of that, well, another transfer portal guy. And an unconventional coach. Of course, that was Deion Sanders, who called out Cormani McClain, the 5-star cornerback, number 1 rated player at his position when he came out. And he made that well known. But that's when reporters were calling out Deion, saying, why are you not playing a 5-star cornerback? Your pass defense is horrible. He's the best cornerback in the country coming out of high school. Deion had to say, regardless of what you think of Deion, and regardless of what you think of him somewhat calling out a player, I think he did it in a fairly respectful way. Basically said, we've got standards around here. You've got to watch film. You've got to prepare. You've got to be at meetings. You've got to arrive on time to the meetings. More news and notes coming from LFG on paper. Right now, April 24, Colorado is primed, intended to compete with Oklahoma State, Utah, UCF, Kansas State to win the Big 12. Yeah, I got to say that my knowledge of these teams is certainly not mid-season form or preseason form, where I will take a deep dive. I'll go, okay, Kansas State, this is what they were last year. This is their personnel from last year. And I also make a judgment as to, did this team overachieve last year or did they underachieve last year? Okay, here are their personnel gains, here are their personnel losses. Look at the schedule. Here we go. That's the prediction. And there'll be much of that this summer. Lisa's looking forward to the NFL draft. Good to have you, Lisa. As Rod Favre was letting us know there, Texas number 116 in pass defense last season. However, let's be fair. What's more important than the actual yardage number? They were number 49 in pass efficiency defense last year. So they were a little bit better than that. A little bit better than that. But still much to improve on. You've got your Texas post game right there. The link's in the chat, courtesy Jackson. We would love for you to be a member here on YouTube, right here at the Voice of College Football. Become a YouTube channel member or a Patreon member, one or the other. Take your pick, same membership. There's reasons that we have both that I've explained in the past. Won't go into detail right now because you don't want to hear about that. But again, Patreon or YouTube channel member or both, if you would like to do that. Okay, we are on to it's time for a little breakfast. What do you think? So, ever since day one, I've been kind of teasing this. And again, those are your morning headlines. And want to remind everyone out there that the morning headlines are brought to you by me, but they're brought to you courtesy the worldwide leader of sports. So if you want another source, as I got to credit D-Rock Irish for our transfer portal updates every day at 3 p.m. Eastern time, where we rely on 247 Sports transfer portal feed. D-Rock Irish gave me two other options there, gave me two other sources to go to. So that is definitely beefed up our transfer portal update. What has bothered me more than anything during this particular show has been because of my setup in propping up the laptop and the camera. We've got a slightly crooked shot. When I had the placement of the laptop and the camera on the other island here, I had that remedied. So I think we'll remedy it again. Not quite. It just doesn't seem. I'm thinking that doesn't. That's pretty much it right there. I think we got to go like that. That's a little better. Okay, folks. Guess we will fire up the stove because I think we're going to go bacon and eggs today. Let's start with a staple. Let's start with a standard bacon and eggs. The last few times I had eggs, I had to go with, well, I went with 3 because I'm in the habit of eating 3 eggs, but I thought, too many eggs. I'm down to 2 now. I gotta go with 2. I've gone with 3 forever. I don't need 3 eggs. So 2 eggs, bacon. Bump from Todd. LFG coming in with this one about Colorado contending in 2024. Utah offensive line. Colorado offense capable of winning shootouts versus Utah. UCF, Kansas State, or even Oklahoma State. Yeah, real men, Hurricane 313 letting us know. Real men eat 3 eggs. So I cease to become a real man starting today because it's always been 3 eggs for me. It's going to be 2 today because the last couple times I made eggs, bacon and eggs, which is, it's fairly often. It was every day for about 3 years, bacon and eggs, like 99% of the time, bacon and eggs, bacon and eggs, bacon and eggs, get that protein. And then I just had it one day. I was like, okay, the bacon really doesn't get old, but the eggs, yeah, it was a bit much. So I've laid off the eggs in the last year, but once a week, I go with the bacon and eggs. All right, let's get ourselves ready here. All right. Number of options. Going with the I'm gonna put about medium. I'm gonna go. So there's a thought in regards to flavor, and I got to remember that you can all hear me via the wireless mic. So there's a thought regarding, do you do the bacon first, which we will finish up our last bacon there. Do you go with the bacon first, and then you've got the bacon type flavor for the eggs? Now, that's the easier of the two, at least the way I think of things, because you do the bacon. I like to clean out some of that grease. You can obviously dump out the grease, but I also like to take a paper towel, get the grease out of the pan. So do the bacon first, but then you've got, if you like your eggs tasting like bacon. So if that's okay with you, then you know what? I'm not real comfortable with that bacon. We're going to open up some new bacon. That's an unfortunate thing. I don't remember ever having bacon around long enough that I could throw it away, but the ends of it are looking a little brown, and I went, that's Oscar Mayer, which I typically get the Oscar Mayer bacon. However, if you've been to the store recently, meaning like in the last 2 or 3 years concerning prices, man. So I'm trying the Great Value bacon. Oscar Mayer, sorry, we're going to try this. And I think I've had it before, but I usually get Oscar Mayer. I don't know. It's whatever my decision is in the moment. So, yeah, that pains me a little bit that I'm throwing out 4 slices of bacon, but it's not looking real sweet. And I'm not that picky. If something's questionable, my stomach has always taken it. I've never gotten, well, I don't know about never. It's gotten sick from old food, but yeah, I'm going to take care of ourselves here on this one. So what we got? 4 slices. So we go 4 slices of bacon. I'm going with 2 eggs. Sorry. And we're going with the bacon first. Now, again, if you like the eggs, and I should get a better shot, I know. But if you like the eggs to have the bacon flavor, then this is the way to do it. Now, I'm actually not that crazy about having my eggs taste like bacon because there's a reason I just ate bacon and now I'm eating eggs. So I'm not completely sold on this approach. I will watch the chat to see if you guys have one way or the other. Let's get this nasty bacon out of the way. It's really not that nasty. It's questionable, but we're going to get rid of that. So we got the bacon going. Let's get our paper towels. And then, yes. So the way I prefer to do it from a taste standpoint is to do the eggs first. You do the eggs first, and then you do the bacon, and the eggs taste like eggs, and the bacon tastes like bacon. However, you got to clear out the pan. It's kind of a, I am not some phenomenal cook. Let's see. Am I a phenomenal cook? No. Am I a good cook? No. Am I an average cook? No. Am I a lousy cook? No, I'm probably not even lousy. I can follow directions, though. Give me a HelloFresh menu rundown or a recipe, I can do that. So do we want to, let's see, that's what our bacon looks like right there. I'm sure you've just fascinated by that. You've never seen bacon. D-Rock Iris says, when in doubt, throw it out. Yeah, it was borderline, but we do not want to compromise the cooking section of the Wake Up College Football Show in any such way. Don't want to do that. And we will sprinkle in our college football notes at the same time from LFG. Pitt, kneecapped by the portal, lost both edge rushers. Yes, they did. To Colorado. And Solomon DeShields, their second or third leading tackler at linebacker. Troy just got done cooking up some eggs with some onion and leftover smoked chuck roast. Good stuff. Yeah, that does sound good. Whether it's really good roast beef, brisket, those sorts of things, heated up in the frying pan is always, you can't screw that up. Grillmaster says, if you cook eggs in the bacon pan, Grillmaster, by the way, if you cook eggs in the bacon pan, try just a little bit of vinegar or another acidic food in there with the eggs. It brings out the flavor more. Another acidic food. What would that be? Or a little bit of vinegar. Well, for me, it would have to be just a tiny bit of vinegar. I purchased vinegar just yesterday for another use, but this is distilled white vinegar. I didn't know what kind of vinegar to get, so that's not your standard vinegar. There was a time that I was doing that. What is that health benefit? You drink the red wine vinegar with water. Erica's asking, how do you feel about Eggo waffles? Lego, my Eggo. So yeah, I've purchased many of those in my lifetime. They get the job done if that's what you're looking for a breakfast. What's funny about when you bring that up, Erica, my initial thought is my kids loved them. You know what they would do? They ate them frozen. They would eat them right out of the box, frozen. My kids, when they were like 8, 9 years old, it was gross. Plus, I stopped them from doing that at times to be like, okay, no, this is probably not too healthy. JR, good to see JR here. Be looking out on the Ohio State channel for JR rankings, Ohio State videos. Yes, Erica, they would eat them frozen like they were popsicles. Mark, what are your thoughts on turkey bacon? Well, I'm sure I've had it, but I can't say that my thoughts are that extensive because I don't normally get it. I think I've had it. I can't remember. I must not have been that impressed because I didn't, obviously didn't stay with it. Let's get our forks. I was disappointed when I went to the store yesterday to buy the same silverware that I bought initially, and I couldn't find the same type. Frozen. There's a bunch of no's from Mike 3883, so he must have had an issue with the. So the turkey bacon, I get it. I'm assuming it's much healthier for you, so maybe I should look into that. Less fattening. Okay, so my goal with the bacon, and this is, I didn't get out the best pan. This is not really a non-stick pan. I think I got this from my mom, but it's fine. It'll be fine. This isn't going to be here long enough. I like my bacon to be crispy. I don't like it burnt, like it done. I like it slightly crispy. John's here just in time for the cooking segment. John, we let everyone know we had a great Michigan football post game. Everybody check it out on the Michigan channel. Good things going on at the Michigan channel. You got John, you got TJ, you got Ferris. It's a good crew. First rate. So let's keep this bacon moving a little bit. You know what I'll do sometimes? And I am it's a joke for me to be giving cooking tips, but sometimes I'll rotate this thinking I know that there are dead spots, and in the pan, and the pans are never large enough that you can completely lay everything flat. They're kind of on the edges, so I kind of move it around to see if I can even out the ones in the middle. The two in the middle are going to get done first. We'll yank those out of there. Nick's here. Can't stand chewy fat. Seems like a lot of people like that, though. No, I don't either. So the fat there is for flavor, of course, but I don't want to be eating like fat, but a little bit, of course. It's just like a steak. There has to be a little fat there. It gives flavor to the rest of it. Like to have like a marbly steak. Okay. Yeah, the bacon obviously takes a little bit more time. Then once we get the eggs in here, that's going to be a quick deal. And let's see, we're lined up with the salt. Now, if I would have done the eggs first, then I would have, I transitioned my buddy who's all over me in a good way about being clean and healthy, switched me over to avocado oil. So I've tried this. It's cooking oil. So there's no downside to it. I don't taste any difference between that and your standard cooking oil that's apparently not as good for you, but it does cost more. Not quite up to that. Not quite up to that. We're getting close. Okay, better be watching the bacon. No, we're nowhere close. Nowhere close. My excuse for being a bad cook is that I was married for 12 years and she was a great cook. So I didn't cook. No salt needed with bacon seasoning, just pepper. Michael, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, generally. Again, from a flavor standpoint, this is not the way I prefer it. I would prefer to do the eggs first. And so they taste like eggs instead of tasting like bacon. But, you know, I really don't have anything in terms of breakfast drinks, but I need some kind of flavor. I need something with some flavor to it. So I'm going to... I told you the other day about my dilemma with orange juice. I love orange juice. And maybe I'm going to start to drink some just a little bit, not like a full glass. Orange juice is just loaded with sugar. And I can't find any decent orange juice. And it probably costs like $20 a half gallon if you get like fresh squeezed. So I used to drink orange juice every day. Loved it. Okay. Yeah, let's turn that over. Yeah, let's turn that one over. Our two in the middle. They are looking good on that side. Two on the ends. Probably could use a little more. Yeah. Probably. Maybe not this one. I think that one's ready. Yeah, oh yeah, that one's getting more than everyone else here. Okay, so that one's browning a little uneven. Also want to let everyone know that in addition to the segment, Mark, what's for breakfast, there is also your opportunity to get me to eat whatever you'd like for me to try for breakfast. Whether that's like, this is my favorite, everybody knows it, it's pretty standard, pancakes. Then we'll do pancakes, super chat, and we will purchase the items. I need to double check. Oh, I better get this off here. Don't want that. That is just right. Get that one off there. Get that one off there. But if you would like for me to try something specific, whatever it is, I will try it as long as it's a legitimate item for breakfast. I'm not going to be drinking motor oil or anything like that. If it's a legitimate item for breakfast, and I do need to go back and look at the last show or maybe the show before, because I think maybe somebody did send in a super chat with some breakfast items. So I need to go purchase those. I think that's what happened. So I need to check that out. And if that's you, please let me know. But I will go back to the last couple shows and make sure that I did not miss a super chat with a breakfast menu item, because that's what this is all about. We're going to try some different breakfast items. And if you want me to be healthy, you will steer me in that direction. Not that I'm above making French toast or pancakes. We will do it, because that would be my favorite breakfast. Would be, okay, that's perfect. Let's be done with that. That would be my favorite breakfast. Would be French toast, number one, and then it would be some combination of whether it's pancakes, waffles. I put those about the same. I don't really have a preference between, I don't have a preference between pancakes and waffles. Some days it's waffles, some days it would be pancakes. But French toast is just phenomenal. French toast for me is just the best. Okay. I don't want all that grease in there. Not quite that much. Don't want all that in there. So we're going to do one of these deals and get some of that out of there. Okay. And it's time for the eggs. Don't make fun of my cracking of the eggs. Or you know what? Just go ahead and let loose and make fun. It won't be perfect. It rarely is. Oh, that one was pretty clean. Yeah, that one wasn't. There we go. And that's right. We're not doing 3. I'm not a real man. We're only doing 2 because the last few times I had eggs, I was like, nah, that's enough. Nah, don't want any more. That's enough. I'm just not into eggs right now. But good source of protein. Good source of protein. So we do the eggs, and this takes about a minute because they fry up here pretty quick. Let's back it down a little bit. But yeah, this is not my preferred approach order in terms of they're ready, they're done. Get them off there. Yeah, this will be plenty of eggs right now. Going from 3 to 2, I think this was a good move going forward. Yeah. Okay. So I had my friend tell me the other day, like, Mark, you need a multi-camera shoot. You need to do multi-camera on this. I'm like, okay, we'll get there. In about 2029, we'll get there. But let's see. You have to see the finished product here. Although you're not going to see it too well, are you? So yeah, the bacon mixed with the eggs. Okay, fine. It's all right. And then in terms of the bacon, I thought I nailed it here. For me, this is my preference. My preference is just, you know, they are just crispy enough. They are just, did I do okay on for me, hey, that's exactly how I want my bacon. Exactly how I want my bacon. And then I always eat the eggs first because the eggs will get cold before the bacon. The bacon, if it's an hour from now, I could still eat this bacon. The eggs, though, got to knock down the eggs. So how did I do? How is everyone out there? And then again, this isn't necessarily like a customary breakfast drink here, but we got the vitamin water, the blueberry pomegranate. Aaron Taylor had a Nutella crepe. I've never had that stuff. In Paris 10 years ago. I'm still thinking about. Whoa. Okay. D-Rock Irish. I thought the same. I'm proud of the bacon. I like the bacon. I'm pleased. Aaron Taylor going with coffee. Protein waffles. Bong rip. All righty. Yes, the eggs into the bacon fat, as little as possible. How do I feel about crepes? Erica asks. I like crepes. I like them. I'm not crazy about them. I don't believe I've ever ordered them. They've been made for me, and that's the times that I've had them. But if I'm going for a big breakfast, man, it's hard for me to get past French toast, because if I had a big breakfast often, then I would get sick of the French toast and I would go to waffles and pancakes. But anymore, I have a big breakfast, like going out, have a big breakfast, or families around, big breakfast a couple times a year. So I go for the French toast. Crepes are good. Nick says the waffles have to be perfect, otherwise get them out of my face. I don't know what that means. Usually with these waffle makers, they come out perfect, don't they? The waffle makers, the waffle irons, my experience, they're almost indestructible. They're infallible. It's tough to get them like a screwed up waffle. They have the perfect, the batter fits in just right. Perfect amount of batter. They have the perfect time on them. They're just lightly browned. So yes, I'm going to have to. You know what? The Rod Farva, he nailed it. Yes, French toast is amazing. And Bob Evans. Bob Evans. We have mentioned so many brands on here in just 5 shows. I should have the walls lined with sponsorships. But Bob Evans does make great French toast. Bob Evans has, I don't think, ever disappointed me. I'm only going to take 1 bite of eggs. Don't want to be eating on. Yeah. A little salt is required. I know there's a ton of salt in bacon, but still, it's just not the same as actually. Yeah, pepper. Never been a big pepper guy, but a little bit on the eggs. That's like the only time I use pepper. I think I started using pepper when I got HelloFresh, because they would have pepper on stuff, and I thought, oh, pepper, okay, I can appreciate pepper more so than I used to. Breakfast needs a fruit or vegetable. Yeah. I've got asparagus. I've got, yes, my strawberries and blueberries were about to go bad, so they became a smoothie. I think I'm out. I think that's it. I think that's all I got for, well, I've got blueberries. There would be your fruit item possibility. Yes. I got some good leftovers from my friend's house last night. Some pasta chicken, garlic chicken and pasta. Yeah, we only have 2 options there, and really a salad doesn't get it for breakfast, so it would have to be the blueberries for you there. Maybe I'll have some blueberries to get this taste out of my mouth in a few minutes. Troy likes the chicken fried steak, eggs, hash browns. Hash browns are a tricky thing for me. There's a lot of variables with hash browns. Hash browns go all over the place with the way they're made. I am going to just completely turn any, the Moose Tracks ice cream, Nick. Well, there's ice cream in there. They didn't have any Moose Tracks, but I've got chocolate peanut butter I bought last night and Fudge Ripple. We purchased Fudge Ripple and chocolate peanut butter last night. My goal, next time I go to the store, my goal is to bypass ice cream and cookies. Try to get past that. Make you got to take one step at a time. I read something one time that stuck with me, not that I've been able to live it out, but somebody was offering in a much more important area of life, somebody was offering this advice when something just seemed insurmountable, that there was no way that this could be accomplished, no way that this person could break the habit of doing this, of being addicted. You can be addicted to all sorts of things. Bad addictions, that's what addictions are. I don't think there are any good addictions, really. So the thought of being able to go without fill in the blank for the rest of your life was just inconceivable to this person. Just insurmountable. No way I can do that. But through their prayer, their meditation, whatever your belief system, their thought was that you don't have to get through the rest of your life. You don't have to get through the rest of your life. You just have to get through one day. Just get through one day. And then the next day, you look at the challenge once again. You commit to it. You get through. So that's going to be my next trip to the store. I'm putting this out there. I got to get through with no cookies, no ice cream. See if I can do that. So I've consistently bought ice cream forever. Yes, Tom, one day. Tom joins us on our Bible channel. Tom, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know that I talked about that there. Erica does not like hash browns. So back to the hash browns. I don't typically like them, like a home style hash browns. You know who makes good hash browns? And all the foodies out there, you're going to roll your eyes. It's going to turn your stomachs. McDonald's makes good hash browns. That's how I like my hash browns. McDonald's makes good hash browns. But typically, like the pile of hash browns, yeah, I'm with you, Erica. I can do without it. Mackinac fudge. Now, I've heard of it. And have I tried it? I don't know if I have tried it. Most of the time when I have fudge, it's because someone has made me fudge. So it's been homemade fudge. I don't go out and... So this past Christmas, I asked for fudge. I said, can somebody please make fudge? Because I haven't had it. And it's not like I go out to the store and I'm looking for fudge. But yeah, fudge is great. Mackinac, again, I've heard of it. I kind of doubt that I have. Hash browns are too greasy. Shredded hash browns at Denny's. Ordered extra crispy for John. Corned beef hash. No, thank you. I can do without that. Nick agrees with me on the McDonald's hash browns. Corned beef hash. The corned beef part of it, it's like a Reuben. The sandwich, a Reuben. I like them, but I don't like the sauerkraut. So I'm basically just eating a corned beef sandwich. I want to go on well, I don't want to, but I'm thinking about going on a no sugar diet, let's say for 30 days, see how I feel. Because I'm pretty sure if I go to the doctor right now, the doctor's going to tell me I'm in perfect health, which is phenomenal. I thank God for that. The last time I went to the doctor was late in 2022, and I took blood tests, went through the whole thing. I was in tip-top health. But I'm kind of in one of those places where I'm resetting on a lot of things here. Skillet potatoes. Denny's has the best hash browns. Tom is a sugar addict. I would never call myself that, but if I face facts, I'm pretty much a sugar addict as well. I was winding down last night, doing some things, going to bed, and thinking, I can make it just going to bed. I don't need to have any ice cream. I didn't get cookies and ice cream, so give me a gold star for that. I did not purchase cookies and ice cream. I wanted to, but I just got ice cream. And I thought, Mark, you're fully satisfied. You had a good dinner, fully satisfied. Just go to bed. Just wind down, doing a little bit of work, doing stuff online, going to bed. But no, I went and grabbed the ice cream. John has done a great job. I don't know what the exact numbers are. It's none of my business, but I know that he's dropped some weight and done a great job. One of my closest friends has dropped 40 or 50 pounds. And John he switched to black coffee, of course, took the sugar and cream out, and diet sodas. We were talking about this last night at dinner as well. When it comes to sodas, or if you grew up in Ohio, pop. So I liked pop just like most people do, but I wasn't hooked on it. I didn't drink it all the time. I didn't have to go but I'm eating a pizza, I'm eating hamburgers. I had pop on a fairly regular basis. Then it hit me sometime maybe 20 years ago, and 20 pounds. Good job, John. I could stand to lose about 12 to 15 myself. And so how does the wireless mic look? I went with the black. I probably just bumped it and did something to it, but I went with the black shirt just to try to hide it as much as possible. So about 20 years ago, I don't remember where I was, and I was with family, kids, whomever else, with family, with friends, whatever. And it just kind of hit me. Man, somebody made a comment about prices going up, and that Coke was $3.25 or $2.75 or whatever it was. And I thought, you know what? It's not good for me. And they serve you water. And if I go out 3 or 4 times a week, maybe I don't do that now. I haven't since I've been here. But anyway, you go out however many times. And I thought, it's not good for me. How much can I possibly down the road improve my health and save money if I just drink water when I go out? And that's what I've done ever since. I bet I've bought pop. Well, the difference is, like, if you go to Raising Cane's, if you go somewhere where there's a drink included, it's tough for me to turn down the drink and just say, give me a water. No, I paid for a root beer or a Sprite or whatever I want, so I should get that. So those have been the exceptions. I lived close to a Cane's, and I was going there way too much Cane's. Now I could go to Chick-fil-A, and because it didn't come, I wouldn't buy the meal. I could just purchase my chicken item separately, not get a drink. But when I went to Cane's, it came with the deal. Or if I would go to McDonald's, well, with McDonald's, I always upgraded to a milkshake, or I attempt to. Listen to this the other night. So I've done pretty well since I moved here, where I've ran out and got a pizza once. Got a Domino's pizza. Sorry, Domino's, if you want to sponsor, not impressed with your pizza. I've not had a Domino's pizza in a long time. Not impressed. Then I went to a Steak and Shake. We talked about customer service the other day. We had this conversation. Remember my exchange with Erica about tipping and all of that? We talked about customer service. I go to a Steak and Shake. I'd never been to a Steak and Shake before. Never. I go to Steak and Shake. What do you think they don't have? What do you think they don't have at the Steak and Shake? Yeah, you can imagine. No shake at the Steak and Shake. I'm like, well, this is why I came. Your name is Steak and Shake. You don't have shakes. Seriously? So went to the Steak and Shake, didn't get a shake. Almost pulled out of the line, but it was too late. So then this week I broke down. They're a total ripoff, Nick says. I don't remember. Mine was about $13, which is right in line with McDonald's. But it's late at night and I go to the McDonald's. I know that this is a bad decision, but I was hungry. Didn't feel like just eating something healthy for me here. Wanted like something that's, going to stick to my ribs. So I go out, get a McDonald's, listen to this exchange. I order the milkshake with my meal. Oh, our milkshake machine's down. You can get a McFlurry though. I said, okay, I'll take a McFlurry. Well, the McFlurry doesn't. So she suggests a McFlurry in place of a shake. But then when I accept the McFlurry, it's explained to me, well, this is additional. So do you still want a drink? And I said, well, I don't want an additional item. I want a milkshake. And you just offered me a McFlurry in exchange for the milkshake. And now you're telling me I've got to purchase a McFlurry on the side, but then I also get a drink. It was stupid. Yes, the machine is down, nonsense. The machine's down like 82% of the time past 9 o'clock at night. So no milkshake. They offer the McFlurry, then explain the McFlurry really doesn't come with it. So I ended up eating this odd combination of the McDonald's quarter pounder and cheese and fries with like this strawberry banana smoothie. It was okay, but it didn't go with it just didn't. I'm not that picky either, but strawberry banana smoothie, quarter pounder and fries didn't go together. Did not go together. Well, I do appreciate everyone being here. And once again, if you want to cook up a specific item for breakfast, send in a super chat. Or, as you can see on the bottom of the screen, I am letting you know, everyone, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, the links are in the description section. They are more effective. I do understand that there's an issue that in terms of when you want comments posted and questions posted, so that's an issue. But if you send me a comment or a question through Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, I will read it on air, but I understand it's not immediate. If we go to OBS at some point, then we can function all of that together at the same time. Habit Burger, not aware of that. Culver's, Corey, Brad, and I had a conversation the other night about Culver's. If you want to take in another food conversation, just go to like the last 30 or 45 minutes of our live stream on Saturday night with Corey, and we talked food forever. But Culver's I've never been to, but I've heard of. Habit Burger, never heard of. All right, folks, I'm going to eat my eggs. I'm going to hope they're not cold. They are, but that's fine. And then the bacon, and I may go next route and grab some blueberries as well. Add those to the whole deal so I can have a well-rounded breakfast. We'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern time with our transfer portal update, and it's going to be even bigger, larger than usual because of all the weekend activity. So join us at 3 p.m. Eastern time for our transfer portal update live. And we've got we truly have a crazy day here at the Voice of College Football. So at 3 o'clock, we'll be live with all the transfer portal news. At 5 o'clock, join myself and Tony Siracusa. We're going live to discuss the recent rulings by the NCAA. I know, boo, they're losing power, they suck. What do they matter? Yeah, they're still making rulings that people have to listen to, at least acknowledge. So the NCAA came out with a new NIL rule, new transfer portal rules as well. This last week, we got Tony Siracusa coming on 5 p.m. Eastern time to discuss. At 7, Texas Live. At 10 Eastern, USC Live. So what am I doing today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 live streams today here at the Voice of College Football. I say that, and I have a particular commenter in mind who made a particular comment over the weekend to one of the channels that, hey, they can say whatever they want. It wasn't the most pleasant, wasn't the nicest comment about the status or the state of the network. But I simply said, thank you for the encouragement. But hey, you're typically doing something right if you've got some haters. All right, folks, for everyone in the chat, thank you so much for being here. This was a 5th edition of Wake Up College Football. We will be back on Tuesday, bright and early, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Remember the over-under on when I will sleep in and miss the start time for a show. I'm 5 for 5. We'll keep it going tomorrow. See you on Tuesday. But before that, Transfer Portal Update live at 3 p.m. Eastern time right here. See you then.